Hey everybody, welcome back. Tack för sist, välkommen tillbaka. Thanks so much for watching, especially if you're subscribing and sharing and commenting. I really do dig it. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to do kind of a quick video. I don't think this will be very long. Talking about my homeland of Norway. They have made us so proud in the last few weeks. We should be in the semifinals, and I'm talking about the FIFA World Cup. Erling, Haaland, the guys just played their hearts out. I don't know why Haaland's teammate didn't pass it to him when he was wide open. He makes that pass. Norway wins the game. It doesn't go to extra time. And then they also didn't call it back. When Norway scored and Erling pushed the guy down, they did that VAR, I think it's called, review, and overturned the goal. Well, the same thing should have happened when England scored their first goal, because when Nyland, is that the goalie's name, kicked the ball, the goal kick, it hit the camera wire, and it dropped right in front of the English player, and they had a breakaway. That goal should never have counted. So we should be in the semifinal. I feel like we got robbed, but I'm still super proud of that team. I grew up playing soccer. Being from Norway, my dad was really into soccer, and a couple of us boys really got into it. I played for 13 years. I was a pretty good player. Nowhere near those guys. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for my little town, I was a pretty good player, and had a chance to go try out for the Canadian junior national team, and I kind of got screwed over by my coach. That's another story for another time. And I got so angry and offended by the whole thing that I quit playing soccer. And I'm kind of sad that I did, because I really enjoyed playing and I was a pretty decent player. Who knows, maybe I could have gotten a college scholarship. I don't know. But, you can't go back and relive the past. I try really hard not to live my life with regrets. There are some things, I wish I would have done differently, but I really try to look forward. My wife's really good at pushing me to do that more. Not sit and look back on what could have been, focus on what is and what's gonna be, and try to, aim for the future. And so I haven't watched a lot of soccer in the last 40 years. When the World Cup comes around, I watch a few games, but Norway really got me into it again. And for many years there, I had gotten into the mindset, and maybe it's because it's an American mindset, that soccer is just boring to watch. And as I started watching all these games with Norway, and I actually watched a couple other games too, I started seeing the intricacies of it, and the chess match that it is. I watched that game, Argentina and Egypt, the other night, where Egypt was up 2-0 in the 80th minute, so 10 minutes left. 2-0 is like being up by 20 points in basketball. That's a big lead. It's hard to score 2 goals. And Messi and Argentina managed to score 3 goals in the last, I think they added 4 or 5 minutes. So in like the last 15 minutes, they scored 3 goals and won it. I felt really bad for the Egyptian dudes. You could tell they were just devastated because they had that game. And, but it was a fun game to watch, especially that last. It's funny how it works. So many of those games, the first 30, 40, 50 minutes, it's almost like a boxing match where they're feeling each other out. And then all of a sudden, some scoring happens. There's too many 0-0 games, 1-1 games. I don't enjoy those. I like seeing a bit of scoring, which Norway did. Not only did Erling Haaland's teammate cost them probably going to the semifinal, they also cost him being tied for the golden boot. Is that what they call it? For the leading scorer. He had 7 goals. Messi and Mbappe, I think, both had 8. And Erling would have had 8 as well and probably got to play another game. But I'm not resentful. My son-in-law is a huge English fan. He went on a Mormon mission to England, so he's really in England. He actually flew to Miami a couple of days ago and watched the game. If I wasn't in the middle of this job, I would have gone with him. I'd have had my Norwegian jersey on. He would have had his English one. We would have had a blast. Good luck to England. I hope they take the whole thing. I really do. Harry Kane seems like a pretty cool dude. That Jude Bellingham that scored both goals, seems like a good dude. So good luck, England. But I was reading Dagens Blad, which is a Norwegian newspaper back home in Norway. And there's just so much praise for the whole Norwegian team, for all the players. I hope the guy that screwed up, like here in America, we're really bad at, if somebody does something stupid, called doxing them, just making their lives miserable, threatening them. I remember after World Cup game, it was probably 20 or 30 years ago, and it was a South American team. I think it was Colombia. A guy had an own goal, and he got home, and they actually killed him. Pretty sure I have that right. I think it's the right country, but if I'm wrong, correct me. Obviously, that's not going to happen in Norway, but I hope they don't, make the guy's life miserable. I want to take him at his word that he didn't see Haaland. I think he did see him, because you can see him look up, and Haaland's like, come on, what are you doing? I think he wanted to get a goal. I think, there's some rumors out there that he was kind of jealous of Erling, and I hope that's not the case. Regardless, though, I hope people leave him alone, and he's still part of that team, and they went farther than Norway has ever gone. And I had so much Norwegian pride going the last few weeks. I have enjoyed it so much. Two of my brothers and I are on a text thread all the time. We text constantly, and we were just going back and forth with the whole Norwegian soccer team. And it was so cool watching Erling when he was in Dallas a couple weeks ago. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And he went to that Western Outfitters store and put on the cowboy hat, and I can't remember what the t-shirt said, but he just went viral. I think he hit 60 million followers on Instagram, and the American people just kind of embraced him and the team. I heard a lot of people, since the U.S. got knocked out, kind of humiliating fashion to Belgium. 4-1 is a beatdown. I thought we had a better team than that, but they still did well. They got to the final 16. That's not nothing. Start with 48 teams. You got to get through the group stage, and then it's into the knockout rounds. So they did win a game in the knockout round. Norway won 2 in the knockout round, including beating Brazil, which is a powerhouse. So that was pretty cool. But it's just been a fun few weeks to kind of show off my home country. I've got to talk to some people about it and just share. Norway is an amazing, beautiful country. If you ever get a chance to go there, Norwegians are known for being kind of more conservative. It may be changing, it's 15 years since I was there. I'm going back this summer again for a couple weeks. And it's definitely changing. Social media, the internet is changing the whole world. But Norwegians have been known for being kind of conservative, but if you get them in the right place, like if you're at a bar drinking with them, I remember going out with my cousin and her husband, actually a couple of my cousins, her husband and a couple of their friends in Stavanger. Geez, I guess it was 30 years ago, 96. And I remember they said, let's go hang out, let's go down to the bars. It was like a Friday night. My mom took my daughter. I had brought her with me to Norway. She was only 4, almost 5 years old. And so I'm like, bars? I didn't even see any bars downtown. And it's like the whole town came to life. This whole new thing. And so many happy, fun people. We went to the bars. I speak Norwegian, but they could tell there was something off with my accent, dialect. And so they learned pretty quick. I'm American too. And everybody was so cool. Drinking in Norway is very expensive, by the way, very expensive. But we had a blast, and you get a few drinks and people, and they open up, and they're just friendly and nice. It's just a great country. I'm really proud to be from Norway. They're a very well-off country. Here we've got this $39 trillion debt, which is gonna sink us someday. I'm not going to get into that now, but I may talk a little bit about that without getting too political. I'm not going to blame either side because both sides have been doing this for years. Norway, so we have 335 million people, I think, in the States, with a $39 trillion debt, not deficit, debt. We have like a $1.5 trillion deficit every year. Norway has 5 million people, and I believe it's a $5 trillion surplus. It's just nuts, Now, granted, there are parts. Norway is kind of a socialist democracy. They're not socialist in the way that you would think, like Venezuela, which just went to crap under Hugo Chavez. Usually socialism does not work. And I know there are a lot of people that want to push for socialism here, but it always fails. It's a little bit different there. There are wealthy people. There are some not well-off people, but there's way more people kind of in the middle. People are taken care of. There's a big societal net, safety net. So, your health care, the schooling, there are lots of great things about it. I prefer our system that we have, but we got to get our spending under control. It's crazy. Anyway, I'll get off that topic. But yeah, it's a really cool place. I'm from the West Coast, Stavanger, which is kind of the oil capital of Norway. And it's where the fjords, Stavanger, Bergen, that area is where the fjords are. So Oslo is the biggest city in Norway. I think it's around 1 million people now. Bergen is the second biggest. And I believe Trondheim up north is third and Stavanger's fourth. But those two might have flipped. I'm not positive. So, but Stavanger isn't a big city, I believe it's like 140, 150,000 people. I got to update my stats on that. I might be off a little bit, but it's in that neighborhood. So it's a city, it's vibrant, but it's not like a giant metropolis. And there's the beauty around it. If you saw the movie Mission Impossible, it's the one with Henry Cavill in it. The guy that played Superman is the bad guy in it. And him and Tom Cruise end up on that cliff at the end of the movie where the helicopter falls off the edge. That's Preikestolen, not far from Stavanger. It's an amazing, amazing hike. It's a 2,000-foot drop straight down to the fjord. Lysefjord is the fjord that is right there. It's just gorgeous. And I have literally, I was with a guy once when I was on my Mormon mission. We went up there, hiked up there. And he hung off the edge like this. So here, the cliff's against his chest, and he hung off like this. I have a picture of him doing it. Pure insanity. I can't even comprehend. The only way I can go over the edge, I got to get on my stomach, and I got to crawl up and like peep over the edge. That's the only way I can do it. It gives me vertigo. And what's crazy, I heard they actually put a chain along the path that leads to the last part of it just this last year, but there has never been any kind of fence or chain or anything. There's a fairly narrow path that leads to the last section to get to the pulpit rock, Preikestolen. And I took my daughter and my son-in-law up there when I was there last. My dad, my son-in-law, my daughter, and my cousin, we hiked up there. And she got to that little trail and just started crying and shaking. And we're like, Kirsten, you don't have to go. This is totally your choice. But if you go, you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. But you have to decide. We can't make you go. So she ended up walking across. I was really proud of her. She cried the whole way. But when she got out there, she just lit up. And she talks about it still, how happy she is that she did that. Overcame her fears, went out there. I believe nobody has ever fallen off of that cliff, and thousands of people go up there every year. It's a relatively easy hike. My 80-year-old uncle went up with us. My dad hiked up just a few years ago. He's 83 now, so he was probably about 80. I think it's about an hour and a half to hike up and an hour and a half back. There's pretty little lakes along. The natural beauty of Norway cannot be overstated. It is just stunning. And one of the things I always notice when I fly into Norway is how the green is so different. I imagine that's how like Ireland is too. It's like this different green than we have here, and it's just this lush, bright green that you can't hardly believe is real. It's like something out of the Wizard of Oz. And it's just such a beautiful place. And I just want to thank the soccer team for making us proud. All us Norwegians are so proud of you guys. Odds are none of them will see this video, but if anybody knows any of them, please share the video. I'm so grateful. I had so much fun watching them. They got me back into soccer for the first time in decades. And I'm going to start following Erling Haaland's career a little bit now. He's the same age as my youngest son, 25. He's 6'5" and he runs like a freaking rocket. I think they clocked him at like 32 kilometers an hour. It was insane. For such a big dude to be able to run so fast, and his kick and his precision, it's just amazing. He's a goal-scoring machine. So I'm going to start following him a little bit. And he just seems like a good dude. A lot of the big stars, Messi, Neymar, Kane, Mbappe, they don't really hang around after the games and interact with their fans. Haaland did. I know a lot of you call him Haaland, I get it, but when you have two A's, it's the same as an A with a circle over it. So two A's makes an O sound, same as an A with a circle above it, so it's Haaland. And he stuck around for the fans. He did a lot of social media stuff. He just seems like a good dude. Like, he didn't seem to hold any resentment after the game that his teammate didn't pass him the ball that probably would have won the game for them. He's just such a stud. He's such a great ambassador for Norway. And tusen takk. Det var så kjekt å se på dere. Håper å få se det igjen en gang. It was so fun watching him. I hope to see that again. He's only 25, so odds are when the 2030 World Cup comes around, he'll be playing again. And I sure hope Norway qualifies. I think they're building something there. Maybe we can get up there with these, France and Spain and Argentina and England and Brazil and some of these powerhouse countries. Like I said, we should have been in the semifinal. And I think we could have won the whole thing if we had done that. But because Argentina specifically has struggled. I mean, they're winning, but they are winning ugly. They've got to kind of get desperate at the end. So I think we might have been able to beat them. But very proud of my team, our guys. I just want to do a video about that. So if you get a chance ever to go to Norway, go. I would recommend the West Coast. Like, Oslo is a cool city. It really is. Lots of art scene. It's a pretty city. It's more rolling hills. The West Coast is more mountainous. Oslo looks a lot like Anchorage, in my opinion. I've been to both. I think they're very similar looking cities. And it's pretty, but the West Coast, it's just where the place to be. And if you get a chance to go way up north, the midnight sun in the summer, that's pretty cool. Or if you're there in the winter, the northern lights. It's just, I could go on and on and on about Norway. There's so much I love about it. I say it all the time. My soul is in Norway. I'm an American. I grew up in Canada. I love Canada, and I'm very, very happy to be living where I live now. I love this country. I want it to keep getting better. And I know some of you that watch this hate America, hate your own country. I feel bad for you. I'm not going to try and convince you, because there probably is no convincing you. I was actually going to do a video tonight talking about that, and I decided to go with something a little more lighthearted. So I will discuss that in a future video. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the World Cup if you're still watching. I'm going to watch England, Argentina, and I believe it's France and Spain in the other semifinal. It'll be fun. Like I said, I've gotten back into it. It's pretty cool. Så tack för denna gång. Vi snackas igen snart. Allt för Norge. Peace. Love.